How you doing, Shorty?
I'm doing really good. Life is good.
No doubt. It's a Thursday. It's my payday, but shoot, but I know that money gonna be gone because of bills and everything's going on. So
So
how's your week been? Your day been so far?
good. It has been a very busy week for me, and it's about to be even more busy.
Mm.
Um, and I'm really excited about it. Wow, my camera's blurry. Um,
Yes, actually, I know an ass back clear.
um, yeah, I'm preparing for Exotica,
Hmm.
which is so exciting. Um, yeah, and I'm continuing to tour. I'm gonna be in Vegas in June. Good time. So Exotica from April 21st to the 23rd. I already
Hmm.
have scenes booked and some sessions, and I cannot wait. I already picked out all my outfits, and I'm pumped. I have to order so much merch and stuff to take with me.
Hmm.
Good times.
Yeah, because I'm pretty sure compared to what was at AV, where I heard about AVNs, that ladies can be a little bit more loose here at the Exotica.
Well, it's still like, being there all day long.
Yeah.
But I have
But I
friends.
mean, but y'all can show more. Like at AVN, where I heard this past AVN, girls couldn't really show much due to where they were at and where they were doing it. Versus Exotica, y'all can have the tits out with the pasties. They couldn't even have that. So
We even now have BDSM like display like
yeah.
tables, which is good because now you can do sessions while
Mhm.
there, which is amazing.
Yeah, I mean, because it's crazy how BDSM is now becoming very normalized in porn.
I love
Period. More
I had something
ladies and
to do with
gents. So what?
I hope I had something to do with it.
You probably have. It's a few of y'all I can sit here and say have. You know, it like this. I'm gonna ask you this: why do you think BDSM, from my remembrance of it, the history of it in porn itself, why do you think it's more open now? You know what I'm saying? That more people want to see it now, live in color, this, that, and third. Because even I remember even the Exotica, you didn't see too much of it. The ones I went to, especially the one in Miami. Period. It wasn't like, nah.
So there's been a cultural change to decolonize, and part of that is realizing that, kink is part of our lives in ways that we don't think about. And BDSM is a release for a lot of people, especially people that, feel the like the oppression of colonialism, which is
Hmm.
active today. And on every side of the spectrum, people need a release, whether it's to like have power when you don't have any, or to let go of power because you have too much. So I think all of the issues that we're dealing with in like the body, all are going to lead back to BDSM,
Hmm.
because the
But
body does remember.
yeah, actually, it's muscle memory. Muscle memory.
And so
I
we
mean,
need to do something with that. And for some people, that's sex. For some people, that's kink. Sometimes
mm,
it's fetishes. And feet fetishes are just feet fetishes. And we have history of that just being a thing. There's so many kinks that just how humans are. Now with ChatGPT, I've been collecting the history of um, kink and BDSM in like our entire history so that I can do histurbation shows teaching people about history at the same time because
yeah,
it's important that we realize that this was being done across the world. you
yeah.
know
Actually, I mean, because it wasn't the Spanish Inquisition. Even though they had a Spanish Inquisition. Trust me, there was Spanish Inquisitions that was pleasurable for people back in the day. I mean, people think BDSM just popped up like 2 years ago or 10 years ago. No, I remember seeing porn from Germany because like Europe had it cold with the porn. It wasn't here yet. And now it's like I can go to Exotica and see a woman spanked on a cross out this bitch. And
Yeah. And here's the thing, like, I'm really proud of what I'm accomplishing with my content and with my platform, because I'm a niche. You know what I mean? I'm a
mm-hmm.
niche at the end of the day. But I'm getting in the millions, which means that my little niche is not so niche anymore. And so I'm happy that in such a little box of what I can do,
Mm-hmm.
I'm I'm getting exposure in a way that shows real kink. I started a series of like real kink so that people could
Mm-hmm.
see it can be like every day. Like I did sounding while watching cartoons on Sunday morning.
Oh, wait a second. Sounding. What is sounding? So explain to
When
what
you
that
put
is.
urethral rods
Oh.
to touch your prostate.
Oh. Watching cartoons. That's an interesting way to watch cartoons. That's an interesting Saturday morning activity.
But there's people out there who are littles and middles, and
mm-hmm.
comforting for them to watch cartoons, especially with such an invasive moment. So it's like a mix of wholesomeness with like some sadism.
Yeah, most definitely. So, hello everybody. Welcome to the Smokers Lounge. Y'all know who I am, Kevin the Silver Champ, aka the Porn Rap Star. Find all my links porn rap star. Four sponsors: lsworld.com, excitebunny.com, rossizzlemagazine.com, and blusharaka.com. Primarily the GW District Black Podcasting Network. Y'all know what that is. Also, go over to fullyswapradio.com and check me out 5 days a week in the mornings, where you can wake and bake and drink your coffee and listen to me chop it up with industry's finest. And also check me out on SkyhawkAfterDarkTV.com, as well as the BGP app. And as you see, with that pretty smile, that sexy voice, and that wonderful mind, you know what I'm saying? The one and only, the goddess herself. We're talking about Killer Queen. Say hello to the smokers and
Hello.
welcome back to the lounge. Hey, trust me, she done been here a couple of times. Y'all know who she is. Y'all can check it out in the premium smoke room as well. Y'all know what it is, $4.99 a month. So, but yeah, it seemed to me, because I've been talking about it a lot on the show. I know the smokers get tired of the conversation, and I always say it, that each year is always a trend, and the trend is now that more ladies are now doing fetish, tapping into that realm. Um, it seems that way, and to me, how can I put this? Is it a cop out when ladies do that because of the reasoning of it? Sometimes.
Well, I think there's a lot. After back pages fell apart,
Mm-hmm.
um, Twitter became the new space for that. And a lot of people were going on Twitter and seeing Findom for the first time and going,
Mm-hmm.
wow, that's so easy. And so they hopped on the train and thought it didn't take anything but just being mean to men on the internet, which for some
Mm-hmm.
people did work. And then for others, it was traumatizing because there are really sick people out there who like just
Mm-hmm.
mess with girls. And so also for some people it wasn't sustainable because we were slipping into like the economy just crashing and becoming really like weak. And so girls are starting, I've seen like never before people saying, oh, I'm quitting, I can't do this, it's not sustainable. And it's like, well, because it wasn't just about like taking money from guys, or being mean to
Mm-hmm.
guys. And so yeah, I see a lot of people just do it because it looks easy and then leave.
See, me, I think, yeah, we about to get a little controversial. I think women sometimes try to find the way not to pay the piper. What I mean by pay the piper is that porn has been built off of boy girl content, a woman and a man fucking, hands down. Yeah, you have your different sects. We have gay porn, you have whatever porn there is, but the '80s, the '70s, the '60s was built
It
off of a
was,
man fucking a woman.
yeah, it was a
All
lot
right.
of
So the first thought of women when it came to doing porn or sex work was automatically thought I had to fuck a dude. Because I used to hear the conversation of girls say, "Damn, I want to fuck all them different dicks," and right? So it to me, I think a lot of girls went with the webcam, the fetish, because that was an easier opt for them to go versus trying to fuck a dude on camera. You feel
I
me? Because
of girls did end up doing that, and the
mm,
thing that's something that I'm grateful for because our
mm,
industry is so dangerous. Because that's the thing, BDSM is its own world outside
mm,
porn. You know what I mean? There's a lot of doms that don't do clips. There's a lot of doms who don't do
mm,
stuff like that. So it's just based off of like them doing dom work. And so, the ones that started selling clips were because people were asking for customs. And so I kind of like
mm,
bled into that, which is good.
mm,
I'd rather have a lot of sex workers who can do digital work than ones that have to go in person and meet people. And that's where I
mm,
need different. Like the industry there, I mean, I haven't met anyone who just does kink for money for porn
mm,
and doesn't do it in real life, but I'm sure that that's out there. And even if
mm,
that's out there, like I'd rather somebody be able to do that and stay safe than
mm,
meet up with people and get killed or get raped or get
mm,
drugged or get robbed, like a
mm,
variety of the stuff that happens to us.
mm,
So I love that we're moving towards a place where
mm,
people who get into sex work because it looks cool, because it is cool, it's so cool.
mm,
We should have the safety to just do that because it is a badass job. But right
mm.
now, still like for a lot of people, survival mode, and so um that's where it's different. So the bleeding in, I love it because that's another thing. Like kink should not be shamed, and I feel like the fact that we see it more is that opening up the door, and people like myself who are putting it out there in its real form and like raw form instead of something that the porn industry has done, which is act. Like I'm not acting. That's
But
not.
see, that what I mean is, it's like, for example, you practice. You
Mhm.
are a dominatrix. You have pegged dudes. You have had slaves. You've done it. You get what I'm coming from? Versus, okay, I saw Killer Queen got up there, femdom, so I'm gonna be a femdom
Yeah,
because you know what I'm saying, copycatting. Because let's keep it 100. A lot of the ladies copycat what other ladies do in this industry, but not necessarily understanding what they copycat.
yeah, yeah. No, I definitely agree. That's where, like, I hope that we can get to a point where we're doing regulations on dom work, which is part of the sex work like
Mm-hmm,
umbrella, because
mm-hmm,
I honestly believe that a lot of us should be OSHA like certified. I think that a
mm-hmm,
lot of us should have defibrillators in our dungeons. I think we should all know CPR, and we should all like periodically have to test ourselves for like not just like STIs or STDs, especially the ones that film, but like mental stuff too. Like make sure that this just job has some type of mental health, because what we go through is so taxing, because we're not just like, showing up to a set and having sex with somebody. We are taking people's most intimate and vulnerable moments and helping them, process those feelings that can be so high and so low that sometimes
mm-hmm,
you have to be careful. You could really mess up somebody's brain if you're not like properly trained,
mm-hmm,
or at least have some awareness of psychology. Like this job is, and I'm grateful that there's a lot of sex workers who come from the mental health industry that have
mm-hmm,
switched over because they feel like they're not really effective in that world because it has so many limitations, because you can't talk about this, because you can't talk about that. So it's like I see a lot of sex workers who are social workers, who are therapists, who are counselors, who are peer leaders in mental health professions. And it's like I'm grateful for that, because we should have some degree to that, because what we're doing is really deep. That's what I mean. It's like if you're just doing it to film, you're
mm-hmm.
really not, you're cheating the experience, because
Yeah,
if
yeah.
I put everything in there, I put the condom being put on the toys, I put the cleanup, I put all of it, the process, because that's real. We need, like, what have we been complaining? Oh, porn's not realistic. Okay, well then how do you solve that? Like I'm sick of people talking about the problems. Let's solve them. So how do you solve that? You start making real porn, real sex, real home movies. That's what is selling right now, and that's why my content is being looked at, because I'm not messing around. That's really somebody that booked me for a pro dom session, that wanted to be exposed, and now I have them on screen, and they're living their dream on camera for others to see that maybe their kinks and fetishes aren't that crazy, which makes someone feel calm, which makes them feel not out of their mind. And now you have like some healing and some mental health addressing inside of somebody. And the thing is, I see this in my clients and a lot of other clients from other doms, because we talk, and like we're giving people spiritual like enlightenment through just telling them it's okay to be themselves and like what they like. And then they go off into the world and are better people for it. And so that's what I'm capturing, because that's the real essence of BDSM. It can really heal. So that's,
Yeah,
I mean, like porn, and I'm glad it's meshing. Maybe that's how we get the porn industry to be more like focused on equality and focused on real experiences, instead of selling it that sex is just like fucking a girl, and not respecting her or making
yeah.
her comfortable. Because I feel like a lot of videos of straight stuff, it just doesn't even seem like she's having a good time.
It's to me. Let's see. It goes back to okay. This is just my theory because I guess for my years being in the business is that we got away from telling the story. When you got away from telling the story and you focus on the sex, something is lost.
It's telling
Because
a lie, and now you have all
yeah,
these raping girls because they think that's how sex is, and girls aren't
yeah.
even.
Because think about it. When I don't know what porns that you used to watch or what have you. I know the porns that I grew up on.
HBO scratchy screens,
Yeah, 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 yeah. You see what I'm saying?
Honey
It
Ranch.
was
Those
even
were
with you.
about real sex that turned me on so much.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? But it was like young lady Chatterley, she chose to fuck the guy she wanted to fuck.
Right.
Period. It was it was a fantasy versus now the videos that people jump off. 'Cause I talk about like when I go down a Twitter feed, you don't see trailers anymore. You just see clips. I'm guilty of it myself. The dude is pounding from the back for about 2 minutes or 1 minute or what have you. And I know a lot of people are like, well, what's wrong with that? Well, you kind of giving them 1 minute of you pounding the chick. That's not gonna make them want to go buy the scene because there's more to the scene than you pounding them from the back. Period. It's
Yeah, how many
I'm just
are on the internet of that? Like, it's getting. Here's what I keep hearing from my clients and why they like my porn. They say to me that they're tired of watching the same situation with the same demographic. It's
yeah,
just any white people doing things to each other. And it's like, no, I want to see an ass clap back on a cock.
yeah,
I want
yeah,
to see,
yeah,
like, hold a butt cheek in the air and a person in the air as they're,
mhm,
you know,
yeah,
see foreplay. I want to see kissing on the neck. I want to see grabbing of the body. I want to see lust. I want to see want,
yeah.
even in my BDSM.
But see, I think the problem is that the agenda don't want our business to show that. It used
Too.
to be a time where you feel me. You feel me? It used to be a time where that what we showed. They don't want to see. They don't want us to show the vulnerable side of sex in our porn.
Well, that's too bad, because they clearly are tired of seeing the same old thing. That's why it's oversaturated everywhere. Like, that's
But
too.
that what we're pushing. I
Yeah,
mean, think about it. All right, I use Black China for example. Now, eventually, Black China admitted how much she was making from OnlyFans, but the rumor was she made 25 million. She didn't put that rumor out there. Who put it out there? OnlyFans. You get what I'm coming from? Period. Now, granted, I don't know what she had on there, what have you, but hypothetically, let's say she did have some fuck scenes. Probably 9 out of 10 ain't nothing spectacular. 6 minutes might be giving somebody a head, this and third. Might not even came to a nut. You feel me?
Yeah.
It's when people say they want real shit, it's not that they want real. They want real women to give them a realistic fantasy. That's how I look at it. You feel me? Real women giving a realistic fantasy. Because, like, when I watch Tubi, I like that some of the movies, the women don't look like they're on Instagram.
Um, you know what? The phenomenon of fake taxi. Fake
Right.
taxi is huge. It's really huge. Why? Because it's reality
Yeah,
based. And so now porn studios are trying to make reality type videos. Those are all
yeah.
staged, but it looks real, doesn't it? What's that other than begging amateur
And
stuff?
the shit with the pawn shop, Triple X Pawn.
You see?
You feel me? Yeah. And
They
I remember,
they know it's our power. Like we have the power now. We're dictating. Like before it was whatever the porn directors wanted, and now it's the people are asking for these things and changing the industry themselves. You have to listen to the people, or else you're gonna like keep making stupid shit that people don't want to watch, which is happening. Like people don't want to see that anymore. It sucks that like that
that
whole
is just so fucking funny you saying that, because I just had a conversation with my girl, Throat Goddess. Shouts out to Throat Goddess. Was porn becoming boring?
yes during
Because, I mean, because this is why I say that. Think about how more extreme porn has got within the 2 years. Within the time frame of us, you have came back and forth on the smokers lounge. It to the point where you had last year more girls are trying to do anal, rough sex, um, gangbangs, threesomes. Then this year, now they want to dibble and dabble more the fetish or what have you, even to scat p, whatever. You know where I'm coming from. It's like the only reason why I see that because the realist, excuse me, the not fantasy, but the sensual 1990s, early 2000 type porn became bored to them. Well, excuse me, became bored because what one, it didn't become boring. I take that back. It got drowned out by the bullshit. And so now, yeah, it's kind of like, yeah, I didn't seen you fuck in the park. Okay, how many outdoor scenes we done seen compared to OnlyFans before OnlyFans? How many outdoor scenes have we done seen people on people's feeds?
yeah, it's not like risky anymore. So yeah, no, and I love that for us because that's we're the ones making this industry run,
Mm,
and we were back then. They were exploiting us, and now there's no chance for them exploiting us because we are our own production companies. And like I saw you had Danzy on, and she makes
mm,
me so happy because look at her, she's doing it. She's doing a
yeah,
production company. She's doing all these things, and I'm grateful to see
man,
that. First,
Daddy got a motherfucking dungeon out this bitch. Stop
yep,
playing, goddamn it. She's ready. She's
good,
ready, ladies and gentlemen.
yep. So yeah, we're taking our power back, and I love to see it because we're fixing what porn did and
Mm,
doing it right. We're showing what it really happens, real fantasies, real dreams. I mean, think about it again. Real sex. What was that? Fantasies. Um, the bunny ranch. Same fantasies.
yeah.
That all real stuff. I'm sorry, but I'm gonna keep with the wave of reality.
Oh yeah, because even with the Bunny Ranch, I remember watching it, and trust me, I watched it on a
I
regular.
I love
Yeah,
it.
it was real shit. But see, too, also because I kind of was in the mix of what that world was about.
Yeah, Kate.
Period.
Like history or whatever she did with sex. Like,
Hmm.
look at that. That touched so many people, so many things. Like, we need to get back to that because I feel like
Hmm.
men don't even know they have to cut their nails to finger somebody or like
Fuck yeah.
brush their teeth before they eat a girl out so she doesn't get a yeast infection. Like they don't even know those
But
things.
see, but see, but see, but see, but see. Either way, it's like even with me, like before I even do something, I wash up. But see, that's what you pose to do, even whether you is personal or you know professional on professional level.
And the
Because
fact
it's
not aware of that means that we are in critical need of education, and that's what a lot of DOMs, and that's what BDSM is, because a lot of us are educational. So yeah, let's start teaching. Some of my best videos are the how-tos. I did a how-to on anal, and like people are really grateful. There's couples that watched that and said, hey, I did this with my partner because I watched your video. That made my heart happy. That's what I love. Like, why can't porn be that too? I mean, at the end of the day, all of us are becoming sexual influencers, and I love that for us. It's
well,
beautiful.
because society want porn to, as much as like I said, as much as they normalize it, they still want it to be a dirty little secret. You feel
And
what I'm coming from?
I'm bad because we're exposing everything. I talk very openly about the fact that pastors call me on my night flirt just so they could tell me that I should talk really mean things about the Catholic Church. Well, they're a pastor. I get people our politics, and they're very gay, very gay.
tell, tell me tell me about you fucking the Pope in the ass. Tell me, damn it, tell me.
It's like, oh, one of them was like, tell me that the I mean that Mother Mary is like in cahoots with the devil, and that she's the abortion queen. And I'm like, what the fuck is wrong with y'all?
I'm gonna
And
tell you something. You know what's interesting? It's funny how blasphemy is like on the low one of the biggest fetishes out there.
yep, yep.
Oh man, I am sorry. It's it is very yeah. It's just
So
and you know so but no, I love when someone do a good blasphemy scene because one you got to have the balls for it, and two, if you do it right, you know, period, it's kind of like it shows creativity or what have you. You
you
know,
want to?
period.
I'm gonna do with that in mind.
What?
Okay, so I'm gonna be in this nun outfit that I have that's like latex, right?
Hmm.
I'm collecting all of the mean things that people have said on the internet, and
Hmm.
I'm gonna have somebody that's one of my submissives, and I'm going to read out every single thing that they said, real comments, and
Hmm.
every one of those comments I'm going to beat them, because since if you're
Hmm.
Catholic, what to do is go to church on Sunday and absolve your sins. I'm going to absolve their sins for them.
No, I'm gonna tell. No, I'm gonna tell you the wildest shit. Like, what was the movie? I think it was Angel and Demons. I think it was the second one.
Yep.
Funny, I read all the books, but with with Tom Hanks and the guy, I guess the monk guy that was doing all the killing, where he was whipping himself with that spike belt and shit. That
Right,
shit, I was like, whoa.
right,
But the dom in me was like, I wish I was doing that to you.
right. That's what I'm going to do. I'm going to whip them for every mean thing, because somebody's got to absolve their sins. So I'm going to. And the thing is that, yeah, I'm gonna also at the same time show people what the hell people are saying to each other on the internet.
Mhm.
What's the matter with them? Somebody told me the other day, like, some really mean ass shit. And they're like, what the hell's wrong with these people? Like, they're on the internet being mean like this for no reason.
Yes,
Like,
they are, babe.
so, and
The Twitter ain't what it used to be.
yeah, they don't believe me. So, you know what? I'm gonna make a video and I'm gonna fetishize it, because we, in this era, we don't get even. We make money.
Mm. Yeah, yeah, pretty much. That's pretty
Here,
much the whole point of it. Why we do what we do.
and she said in her lyrics, "Las mujeres no se enojan, se facturan." So like, we women, we don't get mad. We make money now. So like, fuck dudes, make money. Fuck you, pay me. So
Now,
yeah,
now, now, I'm just gonna tell you what's funny. Just let everyone know that the men that was listening, when she started speaking Spanish, our dicks got hard, and we didn't hear nothing else after that.
yeah.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry. That section did the will be speaking Spanish while you give it a dick. Ah, bring back memories. Oh my goodness! So, but I'm just
Spanish, all in Spanish.
mm, mm, mm. See, that's why I got a crush on you. But anyway, oh snap! So shoot. So, what is your plans with Exotica? What you got coming up with Exotica? Who you plan to work with? All that good stuff.
So I am going to launch my website and my
Hmm.
company there and some VR videos. Um,
Hmm.
and I'm also going to just be, I don't know, meeting fans and promoting, having people buy
Wait a
merch.
second. Hold on. Hold on. Did you just say you're dropping VR videos?
Yes,
Okay, let's rewind this right here. Let's talk about this because VR is now becoming very starting to trickle into porn very heavy lately.
absolutely.
So please tell me about your VR shooting experience.
Okay, so VR is the coolest thing right now because it is so, it's okay. The Industrial Revolution, well,
Mm-hmm.
VR, the AI revolution. We just watched VR revolution, and now we are
Mm-hmm.
watching AI uh, revolution. And the thing is that
Mm-hmm.
I use AI. It helps me every single day.
Mm-hmm.
I use it in my industry.
Mm-hmm.
It's amazing, and I can't wait till everybody starts using it because it has saved me time. It has created things for me that I didn't think I could. It's been organizing for me. It's incredible. So VR. I started playing around with the Oculus because I think that that's the future. It may not be big now,
It,
but I mean, we saw Total Recall. Like that isn't going to be what we're doing. That's the ultimate of being able
well,
to.
I mean, you already got people playing games with it, and you have people that actually bought it, they do it, use it. I mean, that's no surprise. They're out this piece.
And so, yeah, I met up with Blush and we filmed some stuff, and it came out amazing. I haven't shown it to anybody other than my close friends, but I
Mhm,
like to share the VR stuff I've been working on with the world, and I'm gonna do it out
mhm.
of. I
So I'm gonna ask you: did you have a live dick or did you have a torso?
um it was torso.
Torso.
Yeah, because it's really hard to get it all together. I think we're still in the beginning stages
Mm,
of to film it in a way that is much more
mm,
functional. You have to build cages for them, and you have to make sure that
mm,
they're stable and the lighting
mm,
is proper. It's a lot, and it's not perfected. I mean, if you see some of the VR stuff on there, it's not,
mm.
you know,
But I
it's
mean, but see, the thing is, because sitting back, he's practically building a studio in the upper northeast because to where he's a kind of a gateway for ladies in New Hampshire, in the Vermont, in that area to probably get into porn. I mean, straight up, because it was like when you were like, yeah, I need to VR with when she said VR said, who she do VR with? Oh, she did it with Blush, cinematographer, huh? He's getting all of them in the Northeast. Let's go. You know what I'm saying?
yep.
So, but but shoot, but here's the question though. Now with the VR, it's specific to where you have to place the VR
Yeah,
footage
because
because so people can understand the technical side of it. One is a big ass file. Let's make that clear.
oh
It's
yeah,
probably the biggest file you can ever have. And
or
also, a site got to handle, I guess, the bandwidth, the specs. I can go down the list of different technical shit. I don't feel like going through it because I'm high.
and even
Uh,
stuff, you have to have the right like breakup and like resolution and box, because the thing is that you have to have the ability to use it in two different forms. Either you put them together to be 3D, or you keep them apart so that it's like, I don't know. A lot of them that I see on there are just split up, and people don't even know you put them together to make it 3D.
mm.
So there's a lot to. We're still in the beginning stages, but it's something that blowing up and will continue, especially with the fact that like there's strip clubs in the metaverse right now. I could go
Hmm.
work if I wanted to, and people are making a lot of money. There's the first week for like this one girl, she made 25,000 in 1 week. Like,
Hmm.
and it's all crypto, and I'm grateful that like crypto is becoming a better option for payment too in the industry. There's so many websites like Loyal Fans that now allows
Hmm.
crypto. There's lemon 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 something.
Now I'm gonna ask you this now when it comes to crypto because crypto been getting a bad rap in the news lately. Um, with crypto getting the bad rap, does it make people a little bit more hesitant to fuck with crypto?
No,
Or
because
is still crypto still one of the best routes, especially when it comes to our business?
well, okay, so the US dollar is not backed by anything. So I trust crypto more because crypto has cash behind it, and if you don't have cash then you don't have crypto. So at least there's cash or some kind of exchange, and it can be from all worlds of money. So like
Mm-hmm.
I feel more confident in my money being in crypto. Yes, the markets go up, but what are banks doing but trading our money back and forth, making it go up and down? So like what's the difference? I'd rather do something with the world so that I can connect with the world market than stay in the US dollar, which is sinking every day and has nothing backing it. So, yeah, I'm definitely pro crypto. And if people are smart, that they would realize that that's happening. There's a shift in power, there's a shift in our economy, and the dollar is
Yeah,
sinking.
because it's all the crypto cats been disappearing with all of a sudden.
Yeah, because we know what's really happening and we're just minding business. Oh no, I'm getting a night flirt call.
Money's calling.
Oh, oh man.
See, um, from commercial break and everything, because hey, we gotta chase the money. But anyway, but but that's it's the little talk that we had off um off mic before we got back on. Um, so much shit uh been going on or what have you. We me and you always had a real talk, and I don't know what's been happening, but shit has just been getting off the rails with people. Um, because even to the point that uh, when I heard about Uganda, that was crazy about being outlawed to be gay. Tennessee doing they shit or what have you. Um, it's like it's funny how everyone's putting all this energy into all these different things, but the one thing that they don't even want to put energy into is like the gun shit, which is kind of just mind blowing to me sometimes.
Yeah.
Because I was looking at the news and they said, uh, yeah, they extended some more gun laws in some of them states. I'm like, really? So I don't get
Yeah.
it.
It feels like upside down today because a lot of the people who are for guns are
Yeah,
are now speaking out about the TikTok ban because freedom of
yeah.
speech. And so it feels upside down to hear these people who are so against so many things be like, no, not my freedom though. And so now they're backing the
Mm-hmm.
people going against, and all of the people going against are liberal or Democrat. So now
Mm-hmm.
there's like Republican, like alt right supporting people saying don't ban TikTok. I don't know what happened with the world. How are we here?
It's
And then on top of that, like, yeah, what's happening, there's like 450 like anti-trans and anti-gay laws right now, and it's terrifying. There's there's going to be one enacted in Tennessee where you can't dress in drag at all. So
Yeah, I think they got something like that in
on Saturday,
Mississippi.
or Tuesday, it's this week that it's enacted, and I cannot believe
Mm-hmm.
that we're here. We're in those situations, and it's slowly creeping in. I mean, when we said to the world, when they were taking privacy away from sex
Mm-hmm.
workers and having us have to biometrically scan everybody that does videos with us, we knew
Mm-hmm.
that everybody else was next. And then now
Yeah.
here we are with that being the next thing, and everybody's afraid of privacy. And we're like, we warned you all that this was going to happen, that they do it on us first and then they do it on you. And so all these regulations with sex work too, it's like, the reason why they're doing that is because a lot of porn is queer.
Mm-hmm.
And so
Yeah,
they're
actually.
attacking everything. Like, nobody's realizing that all of these things are connected, that these Christian groups are saying that, we're peddling all these children's, like, videos, and it's like, no we're not, no we're not. That doesn't even have to do anything with what we're doing. It's and these regulations are not going to stop sex trafficking. Regulating sex work would stop sex trafficking, but they don't even care about that.
Mm-hmm.
They're not even realizing that military people are being sex trafficked too.
True.
And in the
See, I
unions,
think, I
there's sex trafficking
think
unions too, where they take the young women, have them sleep with all their wives. Like,
it's no, it's damn. It's funny with this. This should have been a smoke this over dark episode. Um, I said this in a episode for Smoke This Over Dark that we live in what is called a Christian agenda. That a lot of everything, the laws, the the arguments that they just keep it 100 with Republicans. I mean, I know Democrats, they got their shit. I get that. Trust me. I hold them just as much accountable as I do the Republicans. But we talk about the bullshit, we talk about the Republicans.
yeah, because they're
And
discovered to be gay or used to do drag, or that they have committed sex crimes or have trafficked children or have married children. Like, when are they gonna
it,
realize
I
that?
have yet to meet a racist Democrat.
I have,
Straight up, no. I know they probably some Republicans talk about some. That's bullshit. That's something. Well, show me one.
yeah. I live in
Straight up, with a racist motherfucker that vote Democrat. I don't know.
a lot of them because I live in New England. And there's a lot that are like, will vote Democrat, but will hurt people like me and you
Mm,
in actual life by, like, paying us less,
yeah,
or saying
yeah,
things to us like they have superiority, or treating us like we don't deserve what we have, or that
mm.
they had it worse. Like, get out of here.
I mean, but when I'm talking about KKK,
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah.
my
Well, okay, so
down
there's,
south Grand Dragon, I mean, don't get it twisted. That there's some assholes in the Democratic side of things. Don't get it twisted. But it just kind of me that is what our laws are based off of. They say it's supposed to be a separation of state and church. Actually, it's not, because if you think about the laws, I done heard people say it's my God given right to carry a gun. I don't think God meant it for us to carry guns like that. This is not the point that we do now. I mean, shit. You can walk around with the motherfucker concealed now, and cop can't say shit.
yeah. Well,
Oh,
there's a
it's
lot
great.
going on. Like, for example, Christians are saying that they care about the kids, but what about, the fact that ever since the Patriot Act and the Freedom of Information Act, immigration changed forever, and now we
Mm-hmm.
could, like, permanently detained. So now you have all these
Mm-hmm.
children permanently detained at the border. What about those kids? What about those kids? Why are you leaving them in cages? Like, that's a concentration camp. If they can't leave indefinitely, what is that? Where's there? What about the missing and murdered Indigenous women? There's, like, way
Mm-hmm.
too many. Gabby Patino, one girl,
Yeah.
660. like, or 678. Like, there's the number of missing and murdered Indigenous women is ridiculous, and those are children. A lot of them are little girls and little boys, and so, and two-spirit people, which are the our queer community, our trans community, and like, what is the care there? What about all the kids that are missing that are Black all over the country? There's a way too many to ignore, and nobody cares about those kids because it's only one
I
demographic
mean,
about.
but see, it comes back to, if like I said, when it comes to the NRL, I think that when you think about all these mass shootings, right? Guess what children you never hear be in the midst of all this? Government children, NRL children, children of the rich. Period. Because a lot of these schools, how many of them was rich schools? You get what I'm coming from? All right. Y'all follow my tin hat here. Now, if the president NRL, and I pray to God this never ever happens, ever. And I'm pretty sure he would say if he was listening, it would never happen. Hell no.
If it was a
Because
Catholic,
they don't go to school. Huh?
if it was a rich school or a Catholic school or like a predominantly white school, you know what? It would
Yeah.
definitely, they'd care then, wouldn't they?
Yeah. But see, even more so, but think about it. If it was the school that his child went to, his child had to deal with that mass shooter and the whole nine, their tune would change.
You know what?
Because
The recent school that had the shooting had a
mm,
few kids that already had school shootings in their backgrounds. Some of the kids from the Sandy Hook were at that school, and
yeah,
that's kids that are now going through it twice. Like, why is this happening? Like, honestly, Ireland had a mass shooting. Guess what? They took away weapons, and now they're safe. They haven't had one. They haven't had one. That's one way to solve it, but that would never happen. You know what? The biggest reason why they don't want to in this country to do gun reform is because whenever somebody who has a lot of guns has been, you know, wanted by the police, it's
yeah.
always a shootout, and it's really dangerous, and nobody talks about that. Nobody talks about the people that have 5,000 guns that become a little army that SWAT teams have to circle. That never makes it on the news.
It's too much money made from guns.
Well, there's so many
It's too
guns
much money. That's that,
that
that's what it comes down to.
they couldn't go
And
citizens here because there's so many guns in the market.
and two, if you want to keep it 100, the gun manufacturers got too much of their hooks into the government. While
Absolutely.
over there is those countries, the gun manufacturers don't have their hooks to the government. But also, we're the biggest manufacturer of guns.
Yeah, look at Radon or all those companies, all those defense contractor companies, BAE, like all these places, Radion or whatever that place is, but all of them here, and they employ so many people, and they just make arms deals all over the freaking world. And I don't understand why I think that's the real reason why they don't want to go after guns here, because they can't. I don't think they could. I think that the governments, like, they'd have to take tanks out and do martial law to get everybody's guns away.
Mm-hmm.
Like, and that's really why they won't, because people will fight back, because they do. Whenever anyone is getting arrested that has guns, they do a whole ass like shootout. They do not deliver their guns. They will fight till the death.
uh
And think about all the lives.
But see, I think the problem is that one is too much money, and too much fear mongering.
Yeah.
Because it's
Yeah.
kind of like, because I mean, let's keep it 100. An AR-15 is a military rifle. I don't care what anybody say. It's not a hunting rifle. It's not. No, it's a rifle that was used by the military.
Yeah.
But yet, it's not outlawed. Now, one of my favorite books from childhood, The Bluest Eye, has been outlawed in Florida. So they would outlaw a book that don't kill nobody, don't hurt nobody. It might be a little risque within the pages, but it's It's Toni Morrison. I mean,
Well,
what did you expect?
think about Kyle Rittenhouse and what happened to him and how he didn't get much. Uh,
Yeah,
and but yet, if
he was
we
applauded.
yeah, if we get caught with a VPN, if the TikTok ban happens, that's $250 in jail time or $1 million fine if you do it
Hmm.
again. Like, think about that. That gets you what? But then you murder someone with an AK-47 or whatever, an assault rifle, and you're good. You get out in 6 months. Fuck that. We're in the world.
But see, but see, that's why I'm like, I was listening to a dude, well, a dude on CNN. He was saying, well, did anyone ever think about what was on the mind of the killer? Because I guess the mass shooting. I understand people. This is pre-recorded, so we're talking about the mass shooting that just recently happened at this point in time to record it. And I was like, she's dead. So, and two, when are we going to get past of, well, they're mentally ill and they're this? Well, okay, then we know there's mentally ill people. The point is to make sure that mentally ill people don't have access to an AR-15.
Right. Or, let's just like put a lot of the money that we would give to the military or to make police officers militarized into mental health. And I see it happening in Boston. There's
Yeah,
response teams, and it's working because half of the phone calls are mental health ones that do not require someone to come with a gun. Because all you do when you bring a gun to a situation like that is freak people
it,
out.
I yes.
I don't understand why they do that. Like, there's so many different moments where they were mental health calls and people get murdered. Why? And that's another thing. All of the other shooters have been alive, but this one, not alive. That's not like what? So we protect the ones that you like from dying, but we kill the ones that you deem bad because they're trans? Like, get out of here.
Well, shoot. Well, I mean, ooh, all right. This is a slippery slope with this shooter. I really hated that this was a transgender period,
Me,
because I already know the what was going to be said or what have you. Um,
but that means that it's across the board mental health issues. It's not one side or the other. These
mm,
people not all of them have not been sane.
mm,
And also, like, just because a person is trans doesn't mean that they don't need mental health issues to be taken care of. We all do. Nothing prepared us for what happened after the pandemic. People felt really hopeless, and they still do, especially with the economy and how, like, taxes are going up and landlords are being allowed to, like, raise the rent through, like, numbers that are not even fair. They're not even all right to be, like, used. And then every job is like so demanding that you have to work overtime. Like,
mm,
people can't do that. They have families, and schools are not a safe place for kids anymore. People are keeping them home. People are homeschooling. Like, the whole our whole structure
mm,
of life used to look like is changing because of the pandemic, and nobody was prepared for that. What about the mental health with that? What about long-term COVID and how it affects
mm,
mental stuff? Like, this is a huge disability, like, pandemic, because the pandemic created a lot of disabilities. There's long-term COVID in people that they're going to have to, like, retire from because long-term COVID, and the fact that, oh my God, they just figured out that Epstein-Barr virus gets activated with COVID. So if anyone had mono, now their mono is going to be reactivated because of COVID. So if you had mono and you got COVID, you will have not only long-term COVID, but you will have now flare up of
mm,
Epstein-Barr. And that nobody is really understanding that half of the people that aren't working, it's because they can't. They physically can't. Like, they're disabled now.
yeah.
It's a mass disabling effect. And the thing is that they're becoming more and more ableist and putting people like, oh, nobody wants to work. Maybe people aren't healthy enough to work. Maybe it's
Mm,
because of what just happened, because nobody took COVID seriously. And whether you want to take it seriously or not, people died. A lot of people died. Millions of people
mm.
died. That is a lot of people out of the workforce and people having to take care of other people that are sick because of it. So it's just like a big mess that all
But see,
ties.
with everything that you're saying, That tells me that people have to think for people. And the problem that's going on is people not thinking for people. For the example of back to the mass shooting, is that with the mental health, okay, then it was apparently she had a mental break, what have you. You feel me? There was things that could have led up to it, ways that people can help, period. Thinking for people. If you do not allow people to be able to get guns so easily, guns are so accessible so easily.
Yep.
Because everyone keep talking about what do you tackle first? You tackle the gun issue. Because if they don't have the weapon, trust me, even if she could have the same little break this time with a knife, I don't think she would have done as much damage. You get where I'm coming from? I mean, just hypothetically speaking, period. But it's when you have the access to it, it makes you think about doing it. And that's what people not understanding. If you in an argument with somebody, right? And they really get out of their mouth, or y'all get in a fight, this, that, and the third. You might have a gun in the car. You might go decide to go get that gun and shoot somebody. That's why the road rage happens sometimes.
Well,
When
that's
you have that gun, it gives you a certain type power, invincibility, lack of vulnerability. I ain't got to be up on this motherfucker. It gives you an option that, yeah. So it just like I'm thinking about with this might sound funny as hell. You think about the old English cops, the bobbies. They didn't have guns, they had sticks.
yeah.
But you ain't see motherfuckers die too easily neither. They got their ass beat the shit out of. But the point being is when you have that access to a weapon, it changes the mentality. She might have had that break, but she might have not went with the thought process of grabbing the gun if there wasn't one to go grab. That
And
it's like people don't. It's like
the other thing
they
too,
want to use the Second Amendment to
that
for ego.
that
Go ahead.
school had a lot of history of bullying and
Hmm.
of not accepting transness and
Hmm.
and it was really a toxic environment, which says more about how we need to like have schools be a place of safety and acceptance and equality, because the youth is not happy. I mean, since Columbine, what did that tell us? The youth are not okay, and it hasn't gotten
I
any.
mean, think about what's going down in Florida. It's because to the point that okay, I'm gonna ask you this. We about to have a real good conversation here. God, I can get deep with you. We you know how we talk. What age do you think it is okay for a child to learn sexuality?
So I'm a mother, and I feel as though I have allowed my offspring to teach me what they need to know. So, obviously, when we're younger, we are aware of our body parts. So, as soon as they become aware, we start telling them, okay, because there's a point in time when they go into kindergarten and school that they need to know, like, these
Hmm.
parts are yours, So, as they go, you teach them a little more. I was a sex educator as a teenager, and like, I taught other kids about sex. We talked about sex. We had conversations that were so like honest of like, okay, well, how do you make it so my pussy doesn't smell? I feel like it smells. And then you
Hmm.
conversation of, well, smells are normal. Period makes things pop off. Like having sex with someone makes you pop off. Using toys makes you pop off. There's so many things. Your diet, the way that you wear your clothes. So like you teach them about that because they need to know about their bodies. Um, and it just progresses to like when they start being sexually active, and then you teach them
Hmm.
about like masturbation should be taught, because then you have people that don't know about their bodies. Then they live like I know women who didn't have an orgasm till they're 27. That's so sad. They didn't know they could have one. So let's like realize that there's a lack in education right now. So the only thing that they've been watching is hypersexuality in all TV. And they talk about, oh, if gay TV will make people gay. No, because I watched straight my whole life, and I'm not straight. And I also don't think that we should have shows like Riverdale having like scenes where the family members are having sex, or that it's implied, or that people are having sex with younger kids. Like, why is it okay in these shows to show older people having sex with kids? Why watching teenagers have sex on TV?
it
Like, talk about like gayness doesn't show all that stuff, and all those shows that have that stuff are behind like
now I will say this when it comes to the shows. I will say this just for me being honest and for my feelings. I feel that they do push it a lot, homosexuality or what have you, for more of a marketing ploy, not as for it to be organic.
right, because they don't
You
they
know what
have,
I'm saying?
yeah.
But um, to me, we're in a different generation. Kids see more.
But because
They
think about it, these teen shows, Gossip Girl's a teen show, and yet they're having
yeah,
threesomes and having sex with their teachers. Hello, that's not marketing
yeah.
kids. And if it is Sabrina the Teenage Witch, that was for adults. Why were they having themes that were for adults in there? They were having orgies and shit like that. Like,
I mean, if you want to be honest, everything that the kids are watching is adult oriented shit. Hell, how many kids watch Rick and Morty?
right, right. So,
SpongeBob, I'm just saying, is teeters very heavy if you really want to be honest.
well,
So
right,
to me, it's. I
and
mean, we had what? I mean, I don't know your age, your age, era, but I was dealing with Rainbow Bright and the Care Bears.
yeah, I had on Rock Modern Life, there was an episode, phone sex operator, and he's
Hmm.
on a kids show. Why did I know about phone sex operators on a kids show?
See,
Why?
I mean, that's what I'm saying. It's to me, it's kind of crazy because to me, I look at it like this: when kids ask, that's when you have the conversation.
Right,
Yeah, because it to me, it seems like you got more parents and adults who one don't give kids more credit than they deserve
right,
because y'all do remember it when they had the answering machine. And you had to teach your grandmama and your mama how to use the damn answering machine because they ain't have a damn clue. Okay, then. So, and y'all allow these kids to have Twitter accounts, TikTok
right.
accounts. I mean, were we not just had, won't the world just sitting there having a conversation about Northwest being on TikTok?
Right. Okay, so here's the other thing. Cybersecurity. Okay, with the porn industry, why are you letting your kids on the internet without restrictions? Why are you watching what your kids are watching? I don't think that we should all just have to like do that. We should be more careful of what our kids are watching. Seriously, these parents don't even have conversations about sex with their kids and expect the rest of the world to teach them about it. That's not okay. Look at the movie Kids. That's where I grew up. My generation
Mm-hmm.
was movie Kids, where they didn't even know that you could catch STIs from having unprotected sex and having babies everywhere. Like, that's the latchkey generation. That's mine. My parents didn't tell me anything. I had to learn by myself. They sent me to a program to learn. I'm grateful for that program because now, because of me, a lot of my friends knew about sex and were safe with sex because we talked about it, because I taught them, because I've been doing this educational stuff for so long, and all my friends are very grateful that like I've been around. They always ask me, they always like feel safe to ask me. And so we
Mm-hmm.
all grew up together talking about sex, and it my group of friends is really healthy because of it.
I mean, because for example, like let's say they want to argue teen pregnancy, where if these
I was gonna,
kids understand their bodies, they understand sexuality and sex, you kind of might kill that. Suicide, okay, if they understand sexuality, they understand their bodies, you know, guess what? they might accept themselves. You know what I'm saying, or what have you. It's kind of like people don't want to do what's the logical and smart thing to do. It's kind of like I want to hold
First,
on to these tropes that I was taught when I was a kid that my mama told me.
yeah.
People don't want to admit they're wrong sometimes,
No, you know what? I saw a woman on TikTok talk about on her daughter's 16th birthday, she gave her a vibrator, and people
yeah.
went crazy about that. And I'm like, do you not remember being a teenager? And maybe it had been taught about masturbation by somebody that was close to you that you could listen to in a way that wasn't like hidden, or that maybe they might have a very good relationship with their body and know what they want, so that when they're an adult they're not letting people just like abuse them because they don't know how to
No, I'm
even.
gonna tell you what it is. Parents sit there and say they want to know everything their kid do. No, they don't.
No, they don't.
No, they
But
don't.
face it, but understand, like, think about it, a lot of the body issues we have is because we haven't connected with our body, because we were told that anytime
Mm.
you do a bad thing. Because here's the thing, being a mother and having mother friends, we all went through a lot of things, and some kids were masturbating when they were younger. And what did the doctors tell them?
No, you was masturbating when you was younger, as a
Right.
parent. It it's like this to me. It's like parents are scared
Mhm.
to have the conversation with their child because they're afraid that their child is going to look at them a certain way. That's why I think it's really what to me parents has to get over.
Well, there's also
Because if as
in virginity culture where they think that those things matter, and so they're like, you have to stay pure and you can't. But like, people are have, since they were little, have been told, oh, look at so and so, he could be your boyfriend or girlfriend. That is disturbing. But then you don't want to talk to them about their bodies and how they're feeling about their bodies, like, but you already push sex onto them already by even having them think that boyfriends and girlfriends at an age where they're not even thinking about that.
hold on, you shamed them for sex, the same act that brought them in the world, that you did to bring them in the world. it
It's upside down world.
it that's why I say is we a culture that we want it both ways, but we can't have it both ways.
Yeah, purity is all what the, I mean, I think Ti said something about like, I don't know, his daughter wasn't gonna have a boyfriend till she was like a certain age or some shit, and that he was gonna do a purity ring, and she had to like promise him that she wasn't gonna have sex until like she was this age. And it's like, why do you care so much about her body and her sexuality and her virginity? That's weird.
Well, not because as a father.
I
Once
get.
again, it's speaking as a father. Did you just being honest? You don't want to think about the things that your daughter might be doing or
So
being done to her in any way, shape, form, fashion.
the,
So trust me, even with the conversation that I have with with my biological baby girl, and understand that she don't get graphic. You know what I'm saying? Not or tell me what have the most might be like, yeah, she spent the weekend with him, and you know, but it's just okay knowing that my daughter spent the weekend with this dude, and I know she ain't a virgin.
it is what it is. They are
uh,
people. Here's right, when this land didn't have Europeans on it, we had children equal to us because they are.
Mhm.
They have a voice, they have wants, they have like thoughts. So we have to give them autonomy. And if we give them autonomy, then we have to understand that they're going to be teaching us. We are just like learning from them what they need. And so we can't say, no, I know better. No, sometimes we don't know better, because how would we ever know better? We don't live their lives. My children's lives are really different than mine growing up, because I didn't have the exposure to like all the things that they do now, which is making them more autonomous and more authentic. You know what I mean? And I'm grateful for that, because they don't have to go through as many hurdles. And I think that requires a different upbringing and different parenting, because they do have a lot more that they have to deal with. Like, we didn't have our whole lives on the internet where people could do revenge porn. I did, because I was in the early stages of social media, but they have it way worse. They get scammed by people on Instagram. I hear all the time, other parents who have boys, they like get trolled and like scammed on the internet, trying to have a person their age send them nudes, and then they blackmail them. Why?
Mm.
That's disturbing. You're blackmailing children, like, and getting pictures from children. That's fucking sick.
But see, you know something though. It's like I said, us is it like this to me. If I had it my way, kids wouldn't have a TikTok or anything till after the age of 18. I understand they got to have a cell phone, but what's wrong with a flip phone? I mean, no, because I mean, think about it. Okay, they in school. What the fuck?
Well,
What you need an iPhone for? I mean, it's maybe because I'm old school in thought process. Because see, the reason why I'm saying this is that they want to sit here and take certain things away, worried about the education of the kids, worried about what kids being influenced by, or what have you. But to me, it's y'all don't want to have the conversation with the kids. Y'all don't
right,
want to have the hard conversation
right.
because either because you're ashamed of your because you're probably ashamed for whatever reason. I don't know why, but it just feel like because think about it, it's like this. Um, I think AOC she said something about men are more dangerous to kids than transgender, what have you. You
Absolutely.
know, and of course, people had something to say about that or what have you and everything. And God, this world too sensitive for me. But the point being is,
It's not
it's like,
white men.
huh?
It's white men are more a danger than transgender people, because what we're seeing is pastors, politicians,
Hmm.
uh, police officers, all related to child porn
Hmm.
and trafficking. It's not men. It's a certain demographic that has the power to do that, because what other demographic could get away with that? But police officers, pastors, politicians.
Yeah, because it's. I mean,
I'm
even to the point that
saying that, but that's the case.
yeah, 'cause I swear, man, it's
Sure, they had power. They abused it. They did that to children. That's another part of that big bubble of power doing really horrible things. And
and
it's not
see and that's why it seemed like it like put it this way. That's why it went back to what I said a little bit earlier, and I said in another show. It seems like to Republicans and to the conservatives and to all these good people that books are more dangerous than the AR-15.
Yep. They're getting the calls coming from inside the house, and also they're getting the wrong problems, like,
Yeah.
on the table, because they should be, if they cared about kids, then they would parent their kids instead of letting the internet parent their kids. I'm grateful for 18 plus content. Like, everything from me is all categorized 18 plus, and you can't get it,
Hmm.
say yes 18 plus. I agree with that. The way they went about it, not okay.
Hmm.
They snuck in stuff that didn't have anything to do with that. Yes, I agree that we should have restrictions. Duh, that's part of regulating sex work, is doing these things. Those things should have been in place already. Just like, there should have been stuff in place for all of these international apps to have our data collected. But they did it too late, until TikTok had so much power. I agree. These apps have a lot of power, but you didn't
Hmm.
even, and you took the privacy and stole our data and sold it as a government.
Oh
And
yeah, and they still honestly, I truly believe that the porn sites Many of some of the two sites, yeah, they selling, especially European ones, the ones
Yeah,
that's not over here.
right. And they don't care about that. They don't care about that. But they don't care about that because they were doing it themselves, and that's what happened. They were like too power hungry and took our data and sold it instead of saying, "Oh fuck, because we can do that, they can do that." And because they can do that, we should probably put restrictions. A little too late. Now you have to do that to Spotify, you have to do that to WhatsApp, you have to do that to like 500 other Shazam,
Mhm.
E2, like all these apps, like all of them. All of them.
That's why just on the porn side of it is that's part of the reason why the little changes that they've been doing. Because let's be honest, these sites ain't making money like they used to.
No, they're not because of the Christian groups with Pornhub at least taking their ability to use Visa and Mastercard, and all the other sites are so
Mhm.
scared to.
Which goes back to, I said it again. People keep talking about the Jews and the gays run Hollywood. No, no, motherfucker. Christian, the big churches run this fucking country. They just tell you this and that and this to throw you off the trail. No, they're
Or
funding Uganda. They're funding Uganda and
or
these countries over here in Africa to be anti-gay as fuck.
yep, and then
Come
there's
on, these some.
a lot of police states. Like I live in a police state where the unions here control the state. So like we're not going to get anywhere unless we like you know take the power away from these unions that are like New Hampshire doesn't have legal weed even though everybody around us has it because it's a police state. They don't want it because they want the ability to use it as a sundown. Well, now they can give tickets, but still they will find any reason to stop
I'm
you.
gonna tell you why. I'm gonna tell you the reason why North Carolina ain't been legalized. And shit, we were probably one of the biggest growers because Billy Graham has a whole Billy Graham. Yeah, dig it. He might be dead, but his influence is still alive and well. It's it. I don't care what nobody say. Anytime when you are in a state that is religious based, yeah, a lot of shit they're gonna do is not gonna be favorable to uh LBGTQ plus or people of a color.
Yeah.
I mean, think about it. North Carolina, low key, all the dry counties are inhabited by Indian, Native Americans. Heavy. Why is that?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, there's a lot of discrimination. The thing people don't understand about indigenous people is that everybody that's fighting now, we're
Yeah.
glad everybody's here, but we've been fighting that fight for 500 years because the first thing
Hmm.
away from us was our ability to self-determine. Our indigenous people that were trans or were queer, our two-spirit,
Hmm.
they took that away from us, and we've been fighting for self-determination so that they could have space and room. And
Yeah,
now,
because you know what I find interesting, and people never even thought about that. For Native Americans, you never heard them ever talk shit about people in the LBGTQ or where I don't know or even what I'm saying within the culture where have it that it was derogatory, it was not welcomed or not even what I'm saying discussed even you know what I'm saying. I mean, the only reason why I even believe on the Hispanic side is because Portugal and Spain, and we know how once again Europe was.
yeah. No, and so now everybody's fighting for trans rights, and that's what we've been doing from the start because they took away our trans people, they took away our queer people, and told us that we were only supposed to be man and woman. And it's like, no, we have more than that. And so, thanks for that. We're all here. I'm grateful, but it took 500 years, and we've been waiting 500 years for this to like get to the point where everybody cared, and we're grateful. But like, there was already a way to be before all of this happened, and we've been living that life of you know touching our ancestors like vividly in our lives where we can be ourselves. Like what I do for work is something that I would have done in my culture. That's why I'm so proud to be what I am and what I do, because this is what I would be doing. I would be teaching. I would be like making sure people felt comfortable with their sexuality and influencing people to feel safe within themselves and connect with themselves. That's what I'm doing. And so I it's an honor.
Yeah, because you know what I find crazy. It's like for example, like you know they had that HIV medicine. Hey, this is what I mean by selective outrage, right? Now, I know you've seen the HIV medicine commercial, right?
Hmm.
Now, it's not every last one of the motherfucking participants in that bitch gay,
The what?
but yet there's straight people that have it. There's trans. You get where I'm coming from.
Yeah.
You know, period. It's like to me that's what I mean by as much as we try to betray this country, try to betray that we are progressive. And on the whole, man, these motherfuckers want to be conservative. They conservative as fuck. They want to take it back to back in the day where gay people stayed in the little dingy club. They didn't have no parades. You didn't see them on TV. You know, black people didn't marry white folk. it,
Yeah, no, and here
it just they want to take back to Jim Crow.
they're really selective because what this whole fight about gender affirming care, what is using Viagra to a man,
Hmm.
helping him feel more manly? What is getting a breast implants for a woman other than making her feel more womanly? What
Hmm.
is getting hair transplants other than affirming that you feel like a youthful man, or a
Yeah.
youthful. What is lip fillers? What is
Mhm.
like any kind of plastic surgery to affirm?
Like put it this way: if you feel some way on the inside, at some point you want the world to see it on the outside,
Yeah,
and
and that
that's
goes
facts.
too because again, so gender if they stop gender affirming care altogether, that means no more Viagra for men, no more
Mm-hmm.
breast augmentations, no more BBLs for women because that's all gender affirming care.
Mm-hmm.
That and you know what? A lot of men take testosterone. Guess what? You can't take testosterone for a man either because that's gender affirming care. So they're fucking themselves too because now what are men gonna do that need testosterone because their testosterone's off? What about women who need estrogen because their estrogen is off? Now they can't take that either. Like think about how people are not even thinking about that. If you take it all away, no more breast augmentations, no more BBLs, no more lip fillers, no more nothing, no more any kind of surgery, no more Viagra.
Yeah, because I know the big hip up was about I guess Zion Zaire whatever I mean her name is God, Gabrielle Union's
Oh yeah.
stepdaughter,
Hmm.
and the argument of should kids at that age take the hormones to uh, do a sex
And here
change, what have
with that, okay, so there is a whole bunch of children that take stuff like
you.
hormones to stop them from having their menstrual cycles early.
Mm-hmm.
There's kids who are starting to like go through puberty at 7 and like
Hold on, wait a second, hold on, wait a second. I just thought about what you just said. Hold on, wait a second. Hold on, people. She just hit so much logic on this. What's the earliest a female takes birth control?
it depends.
But normally what would it be about what?
I guess
13, 14,
16, 17, 18 around that.
16, 17. Okay. So, and I think with Zion, he was what, 15, maybe 16, the age where he wanted. So, but anyway, the point being is, um, see, that's the other reason why I think why they would pull all that bullshit down in Florida too. that they're sitting there worried that a bunch of kids will want to start having sex changes at 13 and 14 and 12, period.
That's not even
Which, what?
that's not even what happens because
Mm,
they're not even mature yet to do that. So a lot of the times they're not giving them medications that early. The only time you ever give kids that early to transition stuff is if there's people who are intersex. That's a whole other thing. What are you going to do about the intersex community? There, okay,
mm-hmm.
10% of the population of the whole world is intersex. That means like 26 million people in the world are intersex. That's a whole lot of people. So these people, especially in the US, there's a lot of intersex community. What are you going to do? Tell these kids that like are in the middle of like two sexes that they can't get their hormones so that they can block puberty so that they can decide when they're of age what they want to do with their bodies. Like what about intersex? Like that really got a lot of children.
And see, and that's the thing that I think what comes down to if there's education. Now, because with them not wanting to have certain conversations within the schools, apparently, because the information you just gave, because think about it, because think about what motherfuckers are thinking. They think on the extreme level. Oh well, this 10-year-old child gonna be thinking that she was born a girl, but she thinks that she's a boy, and she might want to start taking pills, this, that, and third, not realizing that she's not old enough to go that route. You know where I'm coming from. It's like
There's a lot of therapy.
once again, people don't use logic. I don't.
They don't. There's a lot of therapy involved, and now there's a more of a push to let people like to let the kids figure themselves out. That not
Yeah,
that transition isn't the only option. They don't owe anybody surgical procedures. They don't owe anybody like that, which people are starting to say, oh, non-binary or gender fluid people don't exist. Yes, they do. And maybe a lot of people, if they were given that option, they wouldn't go as far as all the other surgeries because they feel like they have to present a certain way. Like I know a whole lot of men who are very feminine and they don't want to transition because they're just them. They're just them. And a lot of women who are tomboys. I myself am a tomboy. I put on girly stuff because I know that I have to do that for work. But I personally like this is me. This is me. Look, I got a boy. I got boy. And but is it really a boy shirt? No, because I'm wearing it. So you know what I mean. Clothes shouldn't even be gender. None of these
I'm
things.
sorry, tomboy's always been the sexiest to me. So
and so
anyway,
that's what I mean. It's like it's gender is a more fluid, so much more fluid. And so having these talks with kids would be much more, and it is happening where we're allowing these spaces to be like, not every person who's trans needs to get surgery. You don't have to do that. And some people do, but some people don't. Some people like, I don't know, like intersex people. So there's a town in Puerto
yeah,
Rico that
yeah, I swear, but that's why I say the world is interesting. It just to me, I think uh, it's just mind blowing, yo. It just some of just the thought process of some of the people on this planet in this country. You know,
yeah.
it just it if they act, it's kind of like the movie Idiocracy,
Hmm.
where the dumbest man in the world at his time became the smartest man in the future. And it seems like the more technology we get, the more technologically advanced we become, the more dumber we are becoming, and more tribal and independent thought. You get labeled as an outcast and homophobic and this and we
Yeah.
done became too damn sensitive. And it done triggered into porn, and that porn done became too damn sensitive. It's bullshit.
Yeah. Um, I'm grateful that things like ChatGPT exist because that's changing everything really fast.
Mhm.
Um, I was able to look up because I told you I was doing the hysterbation stuff. So I want to focus on huevadoches, which are
Mm-hmm.
um, girls in Puerto Rico that turn into boys at puberty,
Mm-hmm.
like around 13. They literally change completely their sex spontaneously in Puerto Rico.
Damn.
And been that's been reported forever. And so that breaks everything gender anything that anyone has to say because that's spontaneous. And as if that didn't happen in nature. It does too. So like the world's starting to become more aware because there are more tools. I believe that there's a shift happening. I totally believe that we were headed towards a very dumb age. But now with the fact that like we're becoming symbiotic with like technology, the other
Mm-hmm.
like 3 or 4 days ago they just published an article about how they found a protein that goes in the body and it makes it so you don't have to keep eating. Like feeds it does it mimics the thing, it mimics the same things as food. And the thing is that because it does that, it also strengthens us. So we're able to take more cold, more heat. We can be in more extreme environments. So think about it. We just get these like proteins and enzymes that they built, and then we
Mm-hmm.
don't ever have to eat again because our body will be making its own food. Because we can do that. Like melanin is what plants get. It's just called chlorophyll. So like think about it. That possibility is out there. And you know how they figured that out? ChatGPT. They put it in there and ChatGPT solved it in a few days. It's only been out for a month for access to everybody. And in that month, we've solved so many things. We also solved aging. We don't have to age anymore. They're already testing it on animals and it's happening where they're reversing age. That what does that mean for us? That we in the future don't have to eat and we can live forever. And then on top of
I
that, we
mean, hell, they were saying the Bible people were living for like 100 years. So
yeah, and then now on top of that, we can upload our consciousness. So all these things are already happening now, and it's like,
I mean, because I mean, when you think, cause even like some of the pictures you were taking, shit, that's like AI shit, literally, straight up. So, but I done held this girl up here for about an hour and some change, and I got something that popped up that I need to take care of. So, with that being said, you know she will be back, Miss Killer Queen, because it's a lot we got to talk about, and we bring her back on the regular, and y'all love when she comes on and drop some jewels, and on more than porn. On top of that, people, but yeah, because she done taught y'all some shit too. So, with
well,
that being said, baby, go ahead.
well, sex workers are some of the most intelligent people on the planet.
And that's why I did this podcast to show y'all that. See? So with that being said, speaking about that, this game is to be sold, not told. So tell everybody where they can spend money on you, killer.
Okay, you can Google fetish fairy dom, DOMME. And with Googling my name, I worked really hard on making sure that everything that popped up was on me. So you can just Google fetish fairy dom and you'll find all of the things I've ever done in the first like 10 pages of Google. So,
See, that's beautiful. See, there you go. So with that being said, y'all go spend some money on her. I can't wait to see what she got popping after Exotica in Chicago. And with that being said, you know how we end these things all the time. Life is a learning experience. What's the point of the experience if you haven't learned anything? Smoke this over. My queen, please tell everybody goodbye.
buenas noches.